Welcome everyone to this Age of Empires 4 build order tutorial for Zhu Xi's legacy. And today we're going to go for a very fast Chukanu rush. Now as usual, you're going to queue up villagers in your town center, but the first 5 villagers that you start off with, they're going to chop wood, but they're not going to deposit that wood in the town center. Instead, you're actually going to be placing the foundations for a mill, take the Imperial official to supervise that mill, and get your sheep over there to the mill. Now as you can see, those villagers just about to drop off, but we don't let them do that. We make them build that mill, and the first villager coming from the town center will go to sheep. Now, the reason for that is because when you get the supervised wood, you can see they actually dropped 60 wood off, which is a 10 wood extra that you normally would get with just usual chopping, because it actually supervised that chopped wood and gives you a little bit extra wood. Now, the next villager from the town center will go to build a village, and then go to build a mining camp, and then go to gold. The third villager to come from the town center will go to gold, and that will give you 6 villagers on food and 2 villagers on gold, with the Imperial official supervising that mill. Of course, we've taken our scout out and about to find as many sheep as possible. And then once you've got 2 villagers on gold like we do now, we're going to get the next 4 villagers to sheep, making 10 in total. Now, when you have a bit of downtime, what I'd recommend is just control grouping 3 villagers that are on sheep in one control group and 2 villagers that are on sheep in another control group. The reason for that is because we're going to be using these villagers to do different little things as the build order develops. Now, whilst we're waiting to get to the next stage, let's talk a bit about strategy with this faction and some things you need to pay attention to. Well, first of all, you need to pay attention to your Imperial official. Every time you get 40 gold collected in the drop-off kind of building that you have, the mill or the lumber camp or whatever it is, it's best to try and drop that gold off back to the town center so you can get that little bit of juice into your income. Now, the other thing is to think about is with this build order, we're going to be going up with the meditation gardens, and we're going to be placing it to make sure that all the berry bushes are covered. That is your standard reference point. That was going to be giving you consistency between this build, between different players. The things that might change actually is how much wood you have. But ultimately, all that will do, if you have a bit more wood, well, there's no problem with that. If you have a little bit less wood, then you will just need to delay that Chukanu kind of push a little bit. But again, it's not all that big of a difference. So we're just about to drop off some gold there, as you can see, from the mill tax collection. And we're going to be supervising that mill once again. Now that we're getting ready to click up, we've got 10 villagers on food. So what we'll do now is get the next 4 villagers to go to wood, and we would be taking 3 of the villagers that are on sheep to go to wood, and then take 2 villagers from the sheep to build the landmark. Obviously, you have to wait until you can afford it, and now is that time. So we're going to be building that landmark meditation gardens with 2 villagers from food. We're going to be taking 3 villagers from the sheep to wood, and we have been starting to queue the next 4 villagers to go to wood as well. We actually just had 1 come out, and hence why we've got 4 villagers on wood right now. But then we're basically going to be aiming for 7 villagers on wood. So at this point, really, I would use this marker in the game to actually bring your scout back, bring your sheep back, and actually start to scout what your opponent is doing. Where is their gold? Can you harass it? Where is their wood line? Are they on stone? Are they going to go for a second town center? Just what are they up to? In any case, what we will be doing is just keeping an eye on our mill and dropping off gold using the Imperial official when we can afford it. We're up to 6 villagers on wood right now, so we're going to get 1 more, and then we're going to be queuing up 2 Imperial officials to come out from the town center. The first Imperial official will come out to supervise the archery range, which we will have probably built by then, and then the second Imperial official will come out to supervise on the lumber camp. Right, so now is really the time. We need to find out what our opponent is up to. Where are their key resources? Where can we hit? Where can we do some damage? As you can see, we just queued up the Imperial official. Now we're going to prepare to take 1 villager off of wood to build an archery range once we've aged up. And then we're going to be rocking and rolling and pumping out those Chukunus. Now, there we go. The 2 villagers from meditation gardens, of course, come back to food, giving you 7 on food. And we would have 7 on wood. Obviously, one's just building right now. And there's the Imperial official coming out to supervise. Just so that once that archery range is up and running, we're going to be pumping very fast. Now, we can see gold there. That's something we're going to harass. And that's something we're definitely going to go for. And the next Imperial official will come out to supervise the wood. So we'll have 7 on food, 7 on wood, and 2 on gold. And the next step is to get 2 villagers from the town center to go to gold, and that will give you 7 on food, 7 on wood, and 4 on gold. And just remember to actually start collecting some tax from your mills. It's very important you keep the gold income up, because that's what is kind of going to be lagging in this build at this moment in time. Right, so you can see the Chukanu heading across the map, and you may need to just see what your opponent's doing. If your opponent's got units, you may not want to stream your units like this. You might want to actually get a group of them together and then move out all together. See, bringing some gold in and out. And yeah, keep pumping up the Chukunu. Once you do get 4 villagers on to gold, you're then going to send the next 3 villagers to go to food. And that'll give you 10 on food, 7 on wood, and 4 on gold. And so now at this stage, make sure you keep your scout sort of active to see where you can do some damage. And it's usually sort of the 5-minute, 20-second mark that you'll get your first or so Chukunu across the map to your opponent. So here we are, collecting some gold from the lumber camp, but just make sure you kind of minimize the distraction to the efficiency as possible. And yeah, we can even get the gold from the archer range, as you can see right there. And then just make sure you go back to supervise, of course. So we're aiming for 10 on food, 7 on wood, and 4 on gold. And we can just rally to food until we get there and just try and do some damage. Now, hopefully we might be able to snipe that Imperial Official. Will we get it? No, too fast for us. But either way, because you don't have any blacksmith upgrades, which we will think about getting later, make sure you don't dive the town center too quickly. You know, don't want to be taking any losses really, and yeah, just recalibrating that. A bit of a wayward villager. Just bear in mind as well to keep a look at your population supply and to see whether you need to build some houses. If you're struggling for wood, just halt the Chukunu production for a bit. In fact, if you're struggling for wood, just take that Imperial Official off the supervision and just grab the gold. And then when you feel like you're ready again, supervise the archery range. But we've been fine so far in this particular build and demonstration. Now, once we do get 10 villagers on food, we're going to want to get the next 3 villagers from the town center to go to gold. That will reach our build order endpoint in some ways, because we're going to be getting 10 on food, 7 on wood, and 7 on gold. That will maintain constant production of Chukunu. And from then, we're going to be rallying new villagers from the town center to go to wood. And with that wood, we've got lots of decisions to make. We can either continue to be aggressive in the feudal age, get a blacksmith, go for steeled arrow for sure as your first upgrade. And then the second upgrade will be an armor upgrade, either a melee armor or a ranged armor. It really depends what your opponent is going for. If your opponent is going for ranged units, then of course it's the iron undermesh. If your opponent is going for melee units, then you're going to go for the melee armor upgrade. You will also want to supplement your economy and boost it up by getting some eco upgrades, whether it be mostly double broadaxe is the main one, and then do some damage from there. If you want to continue that feudal age pressure, you could actually send a villager to go build some outposts even. Send 2 villagers to go to stone to get arrow slits for those outposts. And you can also even start to think about getting palace guards. Now, talking about palace guards, you're going to want to build a barracks. And I'll pop on the screen there just the villager breakdown in terms of what you need on what resources, so that if you do go for this option, you're well equipped to do so. And if you are getting some traction with your feudal age pressure, you might even consider getting some rams. You'll need to get siege engineering from your blacksmith, and then you can actually build rams on the field using your infantry and take out your enemy's buildings. The other option is if you feel like you've done some damage, or you're even struggling to do that damage, that you just think it's not going to work, then you might think about going to the castle age. Now, to do that, I'd probably recommend staying in the Tang dynasty, because actually the Tang dynasty gives you a cheaper tech up to the next age. And then with that, you should be able to pump out some very heavy armored units in the castle age. So I hope you guys enjoy this build order tutorial for Zhu Xi's legacy. And hopefully I'm going to be giving you loads more build orders on the channel. So do consider subscribing to the channel for all things Age of Empires 4.